I'm pleased to be speaking to you from the headquarters of the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa, located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation. The Mint prides itself in celebrating Canada's history, culture, and values through coins. Today, we're recognizing an important moment in Canadian and world history with a $1 circulation coin marking the 75th anniversary of the charter that created the United Nations. We're also excited that this will be the launch of our very first colored $1 circulation coin. In 1945, 51 nations, including Canada, signed the treaty to establish a new world body with the purpose of maintaining international peace and security. Over the years, Canada developed a global reputation for promoting and leading international cooperation. With this new circulation coin, we recognize that 75 years ago, Canada and the founding members of the United Nations decided to move forward with a promise of international collaboration and peace.
As Canada's Minister of International Development, I'm honored to take part in the Royal Canadian Mint's launch of a special $1 coin dedicated to the founding of the United Nations. After the devastation of the Second World War 75 years ago, nations signed a charter to establish the new institution dedicated to maintaining global peace and security. As one of the original signatories, Canada can be proud of its record leading international efforts to make our world more peaceful. From the creation of UN peacekeeping to the resolution of the Suez Crisis and the adoption of the Ottawa Convention to ban landmines. Today, crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change demonstrate that much work remains to be done. It is more important than ever to be united as nations, communities, and people. Canada's commitment to the United Nations runs deep and remains strong. We are eager to work with member nations to ensure a better future for us all. As the special coin circulates from coast to coast to coast, and from one generation to the next, I hope it will stand as a symbol of the continuing importance of the United Nations and of Canada's enduring belief in international cooperation.
The year 2020 marks the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, a titanic global struggle that left large parts of Europe and Asia in ruins, created a series of massive humanitarian crises as millions of people were displaced, and revealed anew the chaos and disruption of war. In June 1945, representatives of countries from around the world, including Canada, assembled in San Francisco to sign the United Nations Charter. They pledged to enhance national cooperation to prevent a future war. The Charter came into effect on October 24, 1945. The United Nations faced a crucial test in 1956 when war broke out over the Suez Canal in Egypt. To end the fighting and enforce a ceasefire, Canadian Secretary of State Lester B. Pearson proposed that the UN members assemble a peacekeeping force. This novel solution earned Pearson the Nobel Peace Prize in 1957. In all, more than 125,000 Canadians have served on dozens of peacekeeping missions around the world. 122 Canadians have died in support of these missions. Canadians remain proud of their historical involvement in international peacekeeping. Each deployment has faced unique challenges, but each mission carried with it the hope that the future would be more peaceful than the present.
The 75th anniversary of the United Nations marks a milestone in Canada's history. Its creation came out of the aspirations for a better, more peaceful and just world following the bloodiest war ever. Canadians were at that very first table, supporting the creation of this body, which would bring countries and peoples together to prevent wars, provide humanitarian relief, and establish global norms for a better world. While Prime Minister Mackenzie King was signing the Charter of the United Nations, that begins with the indelible call for a better world. We, the peoples of the United Nations. In Canada, a civil society organization of citizens came together to throw their full support to the founding of the United Nations, and thus was created the United Nations Association in Canada. This coin, to mark the historic anniversary, fulfills the promise of the Royal Canadian Mint to bring us together around shared aspirations and our history. As president of UNA Canada, 2020 is a moment to acknowledge, along with the Royal Canadian Mint and the peoples of Canada, that engaged citizens made a difference in 1945 in Canada as they make a difference now. UNA Canada's polling shows a whopping 88% of Canadians of all political stripes and sectors support Canada's engagement with the United Nations. UNA Canada is a charity with a membership of Canadians who value the critical role of the United Nations and the role it's played in each of our lives. From coast to coast to coast, in volunteer branches across the country, members come together to engage their communities in understanding what it means to be a global citizen and in initiatives to show the local is global. The UN is each of us. Our thanks to the Royal Canadian Mint.
It is now my honor to reveal the $1 circulation coin commemorating the 75th anniversary of the signing of the United Nations Charter.